Hey guys, Tepcocyclerepair. So today I'm doing the right side grip, the heated grip replacement on the 2006 Goldwing. I've already done the left one, there's another video on that. But the right side's a little different because you have the throttle tube underneath it. So one of the things I was concerned about is, am I going to be able to get this grip off? Is it so bonded to the throttle tube that I'm going to need a new one? And will the new grip fit over this throttle tube? So the first thing I did is just pull the end cap off. Make sure you grab it because it just spins. Grab it and then take that Phillips head, loosen that, and it'll come off. And then usually the test, if I can get a screwdriver between the throttle tube and the grip, which I can, right there, I can definitely get this grip off. So I'm going to start spraying some cleaner, like I'll use some contact cleaner to just kind of loosen it up underneath there, and I'll be able to slide it off. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the holder right here, the wire. I'm going to take this plastic cover off, 2 screws. I got a Phillips right here, and I got another one right there. Take this plastic cover out of the way, get the wire probably about right here, and I'll go ahead and just cut it and then get this grip off. So let me loosen it up and we'll get it out of the way. All right, guys, so to save you some time, you can't use the stock throttle tube. I tried to use it in this. I'm going to skip past that part where I tried to clean the grip off and everything. It's a waste of time. It doesn't work. The tube is too thick, so it won't fit in. But I will show you which one to use. All right, guys, just want to show you what we're looking at here. I pulled it out of the holder right up here. I'm trying to give you some light, too. I apologize for my lighting in the shop. I haven't got it fully set up yet. You can see I'm still just a couple of lights up there, but so here's the holder right here. If you're having trouble, it's also a Phillips head, but you can just push it up out of the way. So here's the throttle wire. I got the plastic cover off, 2 screws. Now to get that off, I use a couple special angled Phillips head. I just take this one here, loosen it. It's not very tight. And then I'll take this tip off right here. And I just kind of stick it in there because there's barely enough room down there. And just hold it with one finger and turn it with the other and take it out. It's not that difficult, but you gotta have some pretty good dexterity to get in there. But I also have some other like angles. This one doesn't fit in there, it's too big, but this fits, that fits. Yeah, just got to get it off. Figure that one out. And then what I'm going to do here now is just cut this wire, and you can see how much room I have. It's like tons of room. So I'm probably going to cut it right here somewhere. You got some room to tuck it in also if you want to hide it some. So I'll probably cut it right here and then cut the housing back some. Give me plenty of wire to solder to and clean up, and then when I'm done I can just tuck it all back in there. So yeah, I'm going to give it a cut, I guess right about here, and then we'll get the grip off. All right, so I got it to a point here and I got to clean up to see if this show chrome will fit over this throttle tube, the factory one, and it does not. This tube is too thick, so this won't even fit over it. So there's no point in me even trying to finish this up. The tube that I'm using to replace it is a Honda OEM throttle tube, and the part number for that is this right here, okay, 53141300010. I think it's for a CX or something, but it's got the same hookups in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just open this up and pull this throttle tube out, and we'll slide the new one on. And the new one is a little bit shorter, so just kind of get an idea, get it lined up with the cables. It is a little bit shorter, but remember the inside of the show chrome is hard plastic, so it acts like a tube itself. It'll be just fine. All right, so getting this off, you have a screw that is, where did that one go? Right here. All right, right there. And then your other one is in here in that little slot right there. Phillips head's a JIS number 2 bits in there. All right, so now when you take those 2 screws off the bottom, you can pull this open. You can see there's another screw right inside there that has a bar clamp. So we need to unscrew that one to get the top portion off, and then I'll be able to unhook the cables. It's a pretty long screw right there. But anyway, that one's out. And then this clip, you just push it down out of the way, and you'll be able to work this up now. All right, so here to get it out, you want to just hook the bottom one, pull it out of the track. Just kind of, I used a 90 degree here, just to grab it and pull it up so that it can slide out of the slot right here. Then you'll have plenty of room for the top one. Just rotate it. You can see it's wanting to come out right there. We're just going to rotate it up. Line it up with the groove like that. And you can see it's coming out. The old one is out. Let's get the new one in. All right, so the bottom one, I just put it in here and rotated this with this top one out of the notch right here. Just rotated it down until it popped into the groove. So now we're in. Now when I slide it back in, everything should be in line and everything should work fine. So let me put it all back together. I'm just going to slide this back in, the throttle tube into the groove where it should be sitting. Get that screw in the bottom to hold the bracket back in. We'll make sure everything is good. I should also mention, guys, don't forget when you're putting it back together, there's a hole right here. This has a pin in it that sits inside that hole so it doesn't rotate. Make sure you get that in before you start tightening anything down because you don't want to damage that pin. But I just pushed the throttle tube back in. I'm going to head and get that groove in there, put the clip in the bottom in with that Phillips of the GIS number 2 screw first. And then I'll clamp this back together again with the 2 screws and we should be golden. I just loosen these up to give these a little bit of play as well. Just this bottom one. This top one, this noodle right here actually threads into this, so there's no point loosening this one, but you want to loosen this one. It helps maybe a little bit. I'm not sure if it really helps at all, but both cables back in, it wasn't that hard. So let's get it back together. All right, so we are looking good. Snapping back, no problem. Remember the length of this grip and the inside of it being hard, plastic, when it slides on, it's going to extend past, it's going to go right where we need it to go. So there's going to be no glue in the end right here. All the glue is going to be right inside here. There's some lines on it. So I'm going to wipe this clean, some brake cleaner and a rag, make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to cut the end of this out. I'll put some glue starting here over and then slide it on, twist it around a couple times so that the glue gets slid around just where I want it. And then the only thing I don't like about these grips is I wish they just angled this straight out and not forward. But I'm going to put that right at the bottom, and the cable is going to loop around to where it needs to go. There's plenty of line here, and it should be fine. All right, the tube itself, where the cable, maybe because it was a little thicker, I had to do some more adjustment here to get the free play where I wanted. All right, so I had to spin this out some way. You can see where this nut was all the way up here where the white threads are, kind of. So I had to spin that out some more to tighten the cables up for the throttle, just to make that feel better, because I didn't want a whole ton of play in there. So now I got the cables cut right here. Now, this is going to be your method of how you want to do it. I do a combination of twist, solder, and shrink wrap. However you want to do it. I'm going to take these here. I'm going to put a piece of shrink wrap down here so I can cover everything when I'm done. And then I'm going to strip these probably almost halfway down here. And I'll do I have another video on how I twist wires together. But basically you V them out on both sides, twist them together on each side, and then wrap them around themselves so that it should be not really much thicker at all than this wire. And then you slide a small heat shrink over that. Well, you solder it, then slide the heat shrink over that, shrink those, and then slide the main one over it. That's how I do it. So I'll show you that in the process. All right, so this is my preferred glue right here, just 3M emblem adhesive. Part number's right there. I got the wires split, ready to go. Same on the grip. All right, you feel me so far? I got here, this is my heat shrink right here. I got 2 pieces of heat shrink on there. So twist together, solder, heat shrink the small tubes on, and then heat shrink the large one on there, and then tuck it all back, and then it'll be nice and set up. So I got this all cleaned up. I'm going to use some grip glue. I'm just going to put it on here. I'm going to smear it around, nice thin coat, and then take the grip and put it on. Pay attention to the rotation so they look the same. So yeah, let's do it. Now I got some rags underneath here just in case I drip any. This stuff can get a little stringy at times, but some grip glue on there. Maybe just a little bit more. Now when I put the grip on, I'm going to rotate the grip a couple times so the glue gets spread around. Show you what I mean. All right. And I'm going to get it to where I want it. Should be right about there. All right, now I can start doing the soldering. Right there. All right, that's easy. I'm also going to slide this on, don't forget that. Now these two wires, it doesn't matter which way they go, either way. The ones coming off the bike are both black. The ones on the show chromes are blue and white, and maybe if you're using the stock show chrome setup that comes with it, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, but in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and just get these spliced together. All right, you can see I got them twisted together now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put some flux on there, solder them together, and then slide these two heat shrink tubes on here. Heat those on there, shrink those up, slide this tube here on top of it, and everything should be nice and clean. All right, so I got flux on there now. Now I can't show you guys how to solder in this video. You'll be able to see me doing it, but there's a lot of steps. I recommend if you haven't done any soldering before, just watch a couple videos. But basically what I do is I take the soldering iron, I get it up to temperature, I wipe the tip clean, I put a little dot of it on, a dot of the solder onto the soldering iron, and I just bring it up here and I touch it and it'll suck it all right in. And instead of like heating up the wire, you don't want to heat the wires up, it'll start messing you shrink wrap and everything. So, but I'll show you what it looks like when I do it. All right, so when I'm up to temperature here, I wipe the tip off, I put a little bit of solder on it, like that. And just touch it to the wire. It sucks it right in. It's one. Okay, I'm not heating up the wire and then feeding the solder into it. All right, just like that. All right, so now they're soldered together. I'm going to slide the two small sleeves on it. Now, I had a bunch of stuff underneath here just in case anything jumped. And you see I got one little drip right there onto the rag. So slide those over and heat shrink those on. All right, and now we're going to slide the large sleeve over to get it all covered up. All right, so there we go. A little bit short of my long piece, but that's all right. This is all sealed up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I'll put some electrical tape right here. And it all gets tucked behind the wires up in the handlebar. So let me get it all back together. And we are good, nice and warm. Grips are working again.